Hey there everyone, Anne here, and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight I want to share a really quick simple recipe with you. On a typical Friday night, don't know about you, but on a typical Friday night, I really like pizza. I love pizza. I could eat pizza every night of the week with all sorts of toppings on it. But of course, pizza base is not necessarily the most healthy thing to eat. It's very yummy, but it's not necessarily healthy. And as midlife women, or as a midlife woman, I like to eat food that is not as inflammatory, maybe, as a pizza base. So I'm going to show you tonight how to make pizza base, or a really fabulous pizza base, with cauliflower and zucchini. Simple ingredients, you know, cauliflower and zucchini. So what you'll probably see here is I've finely chopped, I'll probably do a little bit more than this, but I've finely chopped a small half of a cauliflower and one of these fat zucchinis. Now, if you've got one of those whizzer processors, by all means throw it in there if it finely chops it. So what I'll do now is softly fry it up. You have the choice of stir frying it just to the point where it's just a little soft, or maybe even steaming it. Just a thing to realize, if you're steaming it, it can build up some excess fluid. So once you've steamed it to not too soft, to just, I don't know, what you would call al dente, I guess, make sure you squeeze the fluid out. So, see you in a minute at the stove.
So as you'll see here, I'm just doing a little bit of a stir fry of that zucchini and cauliflower. In here I've got a little bit of minced garlic, a little, about a level teaspoon, crushed ginger. I always like to put a bit of turmeric in most things that I cook, a little bit of salt and pepper, a tiny touch of cayenne pepper, because I like things to be... So the reason I stir fry it slightly, it's really just to soften it and to keep that, you know, it's a little bit healthier to have your cauliflower and zucchini very slightly cooked, rather than the raw tasted vegetables in a pizza base. And I love the caramelization of the vegetables. So, this will be ready to come off in just a moment. That's the spices I used, and the next time you see it, it will be coming out of the oven.
Not exactly at the oven stage just yet. There is another stage now. So it's pretty much off the pan, and you know, it's not as if you can see it really clearly, but it's not completely soft, because it's going to go into the oven to bake anyway, and by the time it comes out it'll be perfect. So what I'm going to do, this is just cooling down for a minute, so what I'm going to do is pop it in a bowl. I'm going to add maybe you know, it's going to be a pizza base, isn't it? So I'm going to probably pop a little Italian herbs in it, or Moroccan seasoning. I like sometimes a little bit of mix of seasoning. You use the seasoning you like. Now you're going to need some Parmesan cheese and some mozzarella, or I don't have any feta cheese. If you'd like to crumble some feta cheese through this as well, then feel free. So what we're going to do is simply start adding the crumble into the bowl. You can tell I'm completely used to videoing cooking, but hey, it's all good. So we've put this crumble into the bowl, and it's slightly warm. Now I'm going to add a couple of eggs to it as well. Now it's completely optional here, but it's not a bad idea to put something in it as a little binding agent. I don't use flour, but I might use a tiny little bit of coconut flour. So hang on while I go and have a look in the cupboard for the coconut flour. Found the coconut flour, organic coconut flour. Gosh, I'm good. Organic coconut flour. Definitely clean up as you go. I'm a bit of a messy cook. My husband always has a bit of a laugh at me as to how much mess I can usually make. Now, the thing is about coconut flour, you'll find it really does absorb up fluid. So as you'll see, this is not necessarily terribly wet. If you steamed it rather than stir fried it, now I stir fried it because I kind of like that caramelly flavor, but if you steam it, you'll find it'll be very fluidy. So you'll either have to squeeze out a fair bit of the fluid, you know, maybe just pop it in a muslin cloth and squeeze it out, or a, you know, clean tea towel or something, and just, you'd be amazed how much fluid comes out of this. So I don't want to be, I want it to cool down a little bit before I put the eggs in, because the eggs will cook too quickly. But basically I'm only really going to use about a heaped dessert spoon of coconut flour, mix it through, that's going to be the binding agent. I will pop in some more of my seasoning now, so I'm going to use just a little sprinkle of Italian herbs, make it a little bit pizza-y. We're going to stir that around. Now, obviously in pizza base, you want a little bit of mozzarella cheese, or this is the time you would probably pop in your crumbled feta cheese. Feta cheese in a pizza base is really yummy. I haven't got any feta cheese at the moment. So I'm going to pop in, now what am I popping? I'm cooking enough to make a good, decent sized pizza base to feed 2 or 3 people. So I'm going to put a decent amount of mozzarella in. So I would say, you'll notice I don't measure particularly well, but that's probably, I'd say that's probably half a cup. Let's pop a little bit more in. There's only a little bit left in the container, so almost a cup. Look, you make it as cheesy as you want to make it. So I like my pizza base to be a bit cheesy. Now when that goes into the pan for baking, I'll put some more parmesan on the top. Okay, that's still a bit crumbly. I'm going to put 2 eggs now, and then I'll show you the process of popping it into, pressing it into a pan. So 2 eggs, and we mush that around. So you want to make that just mushy enough. Here, I'll bring it up and show you. So you want to make it sort of just mushy enough to be a little sloppy. It's a little eggy, it's a little cheesy. And we're going to press that into a simple flat pan. So I like to use baking paper, and I'll simply press that in. I'll bake it, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. I really will show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven there. And then that's what we're having for tea tonight. See you soon. So here it is, all pressed into a little thin baking tray with some baking paper on it. Now, as you can tell, I'll come in a little closer. As you can tell, those pieces of veggie are probably a little bit chunky, but that's okay. If you would like it a bit more finer and neater than that, by all means, you can use your processor. I'm now going to just sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese over the top, because this is the cheesy, crusty, little bit of cheesy crust I like. A little bit of flaky Parmesan cheese, a little bit of shredded Parmesan cheese. As you can tell, I kind of like things a bit cheesy. So this is it, going in the oven. See you in a minute. Woohoo! So, good. Okay, so here it is. So it's kind of nice and brown and crispy on the top. You can simply slice it and have it as it is, or you can put all your own pizza toppings on it, your little bit of tomato paste, maybe some pepperoni, maybe some olives, maybe some anchovies. But it's really yummy even like that is now. Slice it up, serve it, enjoy. Hope you found that nice and easy. See ya.